project network schedule, you'll be asking to develop something like this, whether you are taking a standardized test or for a class. This is a very common topic in a standardized test. The information you'll be given is in this table. So you'll be given the type of the activities those are done in a project and their amount of time. So the time it takes to complete that particular activities, also their dependency, so which one can be done fast than which one. Sometimes this description column might not be given, which is kind of unnecessary. In this case, it will be easy to understand if we look at the description. For example, the requirement analysis must be done first before we actually design the software, and then the building and testing, you first design it, then you build and test. So the dependency kind of makes sense when there is this description, but without even this we should be able to do it if the dependency information is given. So so you'll be given this table basically, not this network, and then you'll be asked to develop how much total time it takes to complete, how early something can be started, how late some particular task can be started without delaying the total amount of time. You are going to basically apply the forward pass and backward pass to develop this network, and finally to develop the critical path, or find the critical path, not develop, to find which one is the critical path. And then, so here is this information we just copied from the PowerPoint. Some of the notation you'll be looking at is this, the ES, EF, early start, early finish, kind of pretty self-explanatory. In the network development process, it uses some kind of 3x3 matrix like this. So on the top left corner is the early start time, and then the activity ID is in the middle of the top row, and then the right top cell is used for the early finish time, and then slack time is in the middle of the left column, and then the late start, late finish, and duration of the activities. So this is just one of the commonly used notation for network scheduling. So I'm going to basically copy it somewhere here, and then we'll basically start with activity A, and then it takes, I don't know where this full stop is coming from. The duration, it takes 20 days to complete activity A. It's going to start at 0. We'll calculate the slack time is basically we'll calculate that later on once we come there. So A is basically when it is start at 0 today, for example, and it takes 20 days to finish A. So that would be the early finish time for A. Now we're going to do this right here. So this activity, let's say this is the B activity, software design activity, that takes 10 days. I'm not typing it, I'm going to use the Excel cell, so in case if I make any mistake, I can just correct one cell and everything will be corrected automatically. Now B cannot start without A. The requirement analysis must be done first. So A is done at day 20, so B can start at day 20 like this. Something is not right there. Let me format it like this or so. I really don't need this, guys, so I'm just gonna delete that. It's gonna be easier like this. All right, so now we're going to copy this to here, and then let's say this one is the so we design the software, so testing software activity D, and then this is equal to, it takes, testing software takes 40 days, and testing software cannot start if it's not built, so B has to be done first, so it's gonna start at day 30. Now if we want to use some arrows, let me draw some arrows to show the path. So this is moon, and then it's going from there. So then now we're going to do, let's say, for the hardware design part, let me fix this guy to here. Maybe I can move it right here, move both of these guy here. Down a little bit. I kind of like it here, and this guy maybe here. Here we go. So let's say this is the hardware design, which is the activity C, and the duration for that is 30 days. Now C cannot start if the A is not done, the design requirement, which is 20. Now I'm going to copy this right here. Now testing the hardware and the so that is my activity number E, test the hardware. It takes 50 days. I'm going to select that, and it cannot start only if the hardware is not designed. So it's going to start right there. Now I'm going to copy this to here, and then basically that's my final activity, which is the integration of software and hardware. And then the duration for it is 20 days, but it cannot start if both hardware and software is not done. So it's going to be maximum of that 2 finish time. So hardware will be finished on day 100. So if integration can start on day 100, it cannot start on day 70 because the hardware is not ready, even though the software is ready. So here is the what we have done so far is called, we have applied the forward pass to calculate this early start time and early finish time for each components of the project, and then we determine the total time it takes to complete the project. In this case, let's say it's in days, so it takes 121 days to complete the project. Now we're going to apply the backward pass to determine how late something can be done. So we are starting kind of with day 120 and going back from there. So basically 120 minus 20 takes 20 days. So the latest F can start is day 100. And then here is going, this guy going there. Also, this is going here. Now here I can simply type, I think I can simply copy these. This should copy right like this. I didn't want that arrow. As Excel sometimes smart. This guy will be here. Again, bunch of arrows copied that I didn't want it. Now this one would be this guy. This would be this. And then this would be the minimum of B or C. Minimum of is the reverse order. This guy or this guy. Remember here we had the maximum of these two, but in the backward pass we have the minimum of these two, because the latest we are trying to determine how late something can be started. If we take the max here, then this activity, if we take the max here, then it's gonna be 50 here. A cannot finish 50, then everything will be late. So A has to finish in day 20, then nothing will be late. That's why we took the minimum of B or C. Now the slack time is simply the difference between the early late start and the early start, or late finish or early finish. You can either use this function, it works. So I'm going to simply copy this to everywhere, basically to save some time. You can use either of this information. As you can see here, So we apply the backward pass, we get the how late something can be done. As you can see here, we don't have any slack on this hardware path. Hardware design takes longer, hardware testing takes longer. So this is called the critical path, where you have zero slack in the project network, or the lowest amount of slack in the project network. On the other hand, the other side is slack 30 days. So now you know the critical path, which is basically zero slack in the project, or the lowest amount of slack time. Now we're going to explain the total slack and the free slack. Now total slack is 30 days for this project. Now that can be used for B or D or combinedly. So let's say B doesn't start at 20, B start at 25. As you can see now, the total slack reduced to 25 instead of 30. If B start, let's say day 40, then the total slack time reduced to 10 only. Now, so you understand the total slack time. Basically, early finish, late finish minus early finish, or late start minus early start. So we understand that. Now, the free slack, the concept of free slack is the amount of slack for an activity has without affecting the following activities. For example, if we change this, let's say D doesn't start until say day 60. This number is not changing at all. No number is changing. So D has a free slack of 30. However, B has free slack 0. Because if B even 1 day late, that affects the following activity. So the definition for free slack is the amount of time or slack a particular activity has without affecting the following activities. So in this case, only D has free slack of 30 days. Now, for some reason, B already uses 5 days, then the free slack for D is only 25 days. Now again, no other activities has free slack in this project. So I hope it explained how to develop this network diagram, apply forward path, backward path, how late particular activities can be started, how early something can be started, the critical path, slack, and free slack concept in this video.